Well,
Well, all right then. Welcome back to Divas, Diamonds, and Dollars podcast. We empower career women, business owners, and yes, late bloomers with the tools and strategies for living a bolder, fuller life. Each week, we talk business, leadership, and personal finance. Follow us to get ahead and succeed at a higher level. Folks, we are your hosts, Larisa Troche and
I am Cecilia Benford.
oh, people. When life gives you lemons, seriously, do you immediately think about how to turn them into lemonade? Probably not. That's not how our brains work. We got to get through all the OMGs first, right? But
True.
at the end of the day, I think it is really all about mindset, right? So in today's episode, we're going to oh my goodness, we are going to that's what we're going to do in
Mhm.
future tense, take a look at all the ways a setback can actually be good for you. Oh, really? It could be. So, time and distance, I would say, generally give one perspective. At least more perspective than we had in the moment of that particular disappointment. Whether it was a client we didn't land or promotion we didn't get, job we didn't get, whatever it was, as you re-examine the situation with an objective eye, you'll likely be able to parse out the positives. It might take you a minute, but I think you can do that. Different vantage points can help you consider the matter with a more discerning point of view. Sometimes a mental replay is useful and can provide new direction or a renewed sense of purpose, says my more mature adult self
Hmm.
outside of the situation. That's me.
Hmm. Yeah, truly, we're talking life happens, right? And so, when things go wrong, sometimes we tend to figuratively tuck our tail between our legs and, we start internally rehashing the scene, probably second guessing ourselves more than we should. Some people go so far as to just, oh, I'm taking a chill day, cover up their head with a pillow, but you get the point. On the other hand, if we just dust off our rose-colored glasses and consider all the potential variables, because there are many, if we stop and think about it, we might see that the pause or setback isn't actually the worst thing that could have happened. With that backdrop, let's go through today's top 10 reasons a setback can be a good thing.
I was channeling my inner David Letterman. I don't know if you used to watch his show, but it's like I only watch the monologues for these night shows most of the time. But I
Hmm.
really liked
Yeah.
David's top 10, and some of them were ridiculous, but it was a good point. So, top 10 reasons a setback might be a good thing. Number one, next time is actually the right time. Sometimes a stretch goal doesn't come to fruition because it's not the right season for it to come to pass. You're not wrong. It's just not your time. And again, I bet you could see that sometimes, like, because sometimes I'm wondering, like, well, did you really want that, or you just thought you applied because you should, right? So really, think
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
Number two, maybe it's not the right move for you. True story, folks. I was thinking about getting two Yorkie puppies.
Ooh.
Never having had a puppy, right? I think all the dogs we had were grown. That might not be true, but I feel like that. I've lost that muscle memory for training a puppy. Trust me. Luckily, I will
Mhm.
say, luckily, the seller saved me from myself
Good.
and sold one out from under me, and I was only able to buy one. And that comes under the heading of phew, because we are getting a workout with this little one fella. So, and sometimes, frankly, that's the reason you miss out because it really isn't your best move, and that's okay. Number three, here's a fave. Number three, you'll build back better. Once we've been burned, we generally come back stronger, is what I think. We make a better plan, gain greater skills, formulate a better strategy. There's always room for improvement.
Right. Mhm.
Number four, I'm going to suggest your tribe is waiting for you. When we don't land that new client or find support for our ideas, it's sometimes because we haven't found our peeps and our words fall on deaf ears. All is not lost. We just need to find our people.
So
And what else
true.
can we do, Cecilia? What else? How else
Well,
should we look at this?
yeah, I think the as I think about this, and hopefully as soon as I say this, there will be some head nods. Reflection happens naturally. I don't know that you can have a setback and not have any reflection, okay? So, what do you do with this? You assess your goals. Is this what you really want? Sometimes, maybe you just need to kind of do some tweaking. Maybe it's something similar, but not necessarily what you just tried, right? If things had worked out, would you have the bandwidth to do it justice? That's something I've learned about myself. You start something and gosh, the mind can convince you of great things. But sometimes we do bite off more than we can chew, or you find out it wasn't as described. How about you'll be remotivated? Now, through my coaching experiences with various people, all different ages, I do find for the most part that human, hey, word that we have talked about over time, and that's resilience. You will be remotivated to do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Not just I'll show them, but more a matter of having confidence in yourself and living up to your own expectations. Because sometimes we just have to say, I've been here before. How about you'll be more intentional? Now, this one I think is very important to keep you from running off in the wrong direction. It's easy to draft or operate on autopilot when you get busy, truly. But, your time is precious. So the afterburn of a disappointment is a tendency to think things through and make your actions meaningful because you realize, okay, hey, I don't have another moment to waste. I don't want to go through that again. How about leveling up? You'll level up. Sometimes when we get a wake-up call, our next move is to come back faster, better, stronger. And that is a move to embrace. I mean, leveling up, that's going forward, positive. I see positive motivation there. How about you get a do-over? Yes, we do get do-overs. And I think sometimes I've had to remind people this is not a setback, it's a do-over. It's not every day that one gets a do-over, but this is just such an opportunity to gather your thoughts, marshal your resources, and try again. Opportunity is the operative word. And then 10. Remember, we've been counting 10 opportunities, 10 positive movements to make out of lemons, setbacks. You learn something new. I don't believe you could ever go through a situation where you didn't learn at least one thing new. Now, it may have been a hard lesson in the moment. Some of our moments are, but it's really good intel nonetheless. So, how will you put this newfound knowledge to good use, to your best use, to your, hey, I'm going for this again?
That last number 10 is actually that is I actually ask myself that question. Sometimes I feel like I want to say I feel like what's it called? Disappointment happens with disturbing regularity. And you feel like you've given it your all or put everything in it. And so I just ask myself, what am I supposed to be learning from this? I will ask that
Mhm.
question. What am I supposed because you can't always see it in the moment. Frankly, I don't see it in the moment because I'm still
Mhm.
rehashing probably. That's probably what it is. I'm still looking backward instead of forward. Okay, what do I take from this? Where do I go from here? So I mean, you know, these 10 I call it 10 ways to make lemonade, if you will. But I hope that you will take a moment to kind of go back over these because life happens. And one of, um, I think it's a quote, you know how bad I am with quotes, folks, that is attributed to Winston Churchill, something like, that's probably not accurate. Let's say that's not accurate. Someone said that success is being able to go from one failure to another without, um, I don't know, without lack of energy or something. I forgot the rest of it, but what is that called? I don't know. But anyway, I think that's appropriate here. And I should have looked it up before we had that episode, but that is appropriate because we seldom go on a straight line when we're achieving big things, right? There's some detours, there are some setbacks, and there's some reimagination of really what is it we wanted. But I just wanted to maybe mention a couple names that you probably know. You may have heard of these people. Um, and one person I didn't write down, let me say, okay, here we go. This is what I'm saying. Some women that we have heard about before have overcome setbacks to become bigger and better, right? You have that terrible thing or disappointing thing. Let's not even make it the worst thing. It's just a disappointment. It's a it's a crushing blow in the moment. Whatever. And I'll say one person whose name I did not write down because I'm not online, but the co-founder of Tinder had a falling out with her partner, so she left Tinder, and I've heard various things about Tinder. I have no firsthand knowledge, to start Bumble. And Bumble is also a dating app, but it gives women the power to make the first move versus, I guess, Tinder. Maybe the guy has to reach out. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but I figured most folks have heard of those names, whether they're online or not. You've seen it in a headline somewhere. So I thought that was interesting. Let's go ahead and just jump into Miss Oprah. If you remember her story,
I was wondering, I was thinking Oprah
she
too.
had Oprah's empire at this point, Oprah Media or whatever. She had the talk show for all the years. She's got the magazine, she's got the this, and she's got the media empire is what she's got. But Oprah was fired from her as a co-anchor from a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And I do kind of wonder, did she say, well, I'll show them, or whatever it was that she took to dust herself off and come back faster, better, stronger for sure. Because they're probably kicking themselves like, ooh, we should have held on to her. She was a gem.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so you may have already heard that story about Oprah. And one name you might not come through at the top of your list, but Vera Wang, I happen to have some of her boots. I wonder if I still have those. So I do recognize her name. I know she's in I think it was Mervin's. But anyway, she actually tried out for the Olympics and didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not get the editor position at Vogue. And she's like, okay. She didn't say that. I said that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so she went on to become a famous fashion designer. So, hey, again, you have a little hiccup and you say, you know what? I got this. I'm here and this is where I'm going. And then the third person I'm just going to mention, again, maybe not top of mind, but I bet you know who she is. Sofia Vergara, who was a divorced mom at 21, spent some time on the modeling runways before at the age of 37. So she slogged it out as a model. Slogged it out. She does not let she slogs. But
Mm-hmm.
at 37, she landed the role of Modern Family. And that was a cute show that I didn't watch until, what was it called? Syndication. But it was cute. Great casting. And she went from Modern Family to becoming one of the highest paid actresses. So, and women do not get the same kind of money in,
Mm-hmm.
well, acting. I'm sure there's another
Absolutely.
name for that. But again,
Show
so
business or
yeah. So anyway,
whatever.
I mean, I just wanted to remind you that it's not just you, quote unquote, happens to the best of us, best of us. I'll put myself in the us category. We've all had an experience. And I just want to remind you that it's okay. One bad action or event is not going to define you. You just have to remember you can take it, you can own it, and then you can come back better, level up, and just use that lesson as a stepping stone, if you will. So, okay, With that, let me just give you today's Divalicious pro tip. Keep pursuing your stretch goals with eyes wide, right? So then you can seize the opportunity when you get the yes, or you may just want to be ready with your plan B if that's what's necessary. So keep going, keep growing. You got this. There are opportunities, not always a straight line. That's not how life works. But then you will get there as long as you continue to persevere. Oh, I have enjoyed this little series. Cecilia, how are we going to wrap it up?
Yes, yes. Well, we're going to wrap up not only this episode, which I mean, a lot of little gems here, but we're going to wrap up our series about bouncing back, right? I hope you've enjoyed bouncing back. And the reason is if you haven't bounced back, you will. Just keep on living. And so we're going to have an interview with another lady who has actually done this a time or two. So she has a fascinating story. And one of the things I can say, and her name is Cecilia, spelled just like my name, which is very unusual, Morris. And so she's both a careerist and a businesswoman. And
She's a
so,
multipreneur. Is that what you're saying? Okay, okay, got it. Please carry on.
yeah. So when you hear her story, one of the things that I have noted from her, say, over recent times is the positivity that she projects. And the reason I say that because sometimes when you have lemons, and even when you're making lemonade, you tend to have a little tartness there. Well, we need to be sweet with that. And so stay tuned for our interview with Cecilia Morris next episode.
All righty, gentle persons. And with that, we remind you to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. I know there are a lot of streaming platforms, and we hope that you will find us on Spotify, and that helps us grow and get more exposure. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Cheers.